Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm on a bit early, trying to save the day because Russ has had a bit of technical difficulty. His internet has died. So last second, throwing this all together, jumped in. We're here. Man United away, Old Trafford, the FA Cup. It's we've got a chance. We've got a chance. FA Cup. You never know what's going to happen. And you know what? In fairness, Moyes has actually surprisingly gone for it. 4 changes for the team. The team is in. 4 changes from the weekend. But as we see here, excuse me, he's kept the back 4. The back 4 is still here. A couple of changes, but I said, look, Johnson, Aguero, Bonner, Emerson, Rice and Souček, Paqueta as a midfield 3, and then Fornals and Antonio both coming to start. Obviously, the centre forward situation was one we probably expected. Danny Ings, unfortunately, being injured. Not much we could really do about it. But on the whole, it's not too bad. It looks promising. You know, I think we're all quite surprised Moyes has gone for it as much as he has. That being said, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm not entirely sure. It looks good though. It looks promising. I mean, I said it looks Ariola, Johnson, Aguirre, Emerson, Rice, Souček, Fornals, Antonio Benrahma. It looks like he's kept formation. It looks like it's not a back 5, which I think everyone is happy and surprised at. I didn't think we'd be seeing a back 4 away at Man United. I definitely thought the back 5 would be coming in. Also, a few kids on the bench, which is always nice to see. You know, normally Moyes doesn't like using the kids. Anang is the goalkeeper on the bench, obviously. Ariola is now firmly, at the least for the moment, number 1. Rumour is, you know, it could be maybe 6 weeks for Fabianski with his fractured cheekbone and eye socket. So it's not, as I said, it's. You look at the bench, Anang, Downs, Creswell, Kira, Bowen, Skamaka, and then Sawyer and Obama. So he's taken a few of the kids. Nothing to lose, everything to go for. I said he's rotated, but he's rotated in a positive way. He's tried to protect where he can. Some players obviously probably need the rest. He still probably wants to think about the weekend game. But it's positive. I haven't seen the Man United team. I'm just going to have a look at that now. But for once, we probably can't moan at Moyes for going defensive away at a Big 6 team. Maybe the fact it's not a league game. Maybe the fact that it's an FA Cup game. He's gone, yeah, we'll go for it. I've got the Man United team in front of me here. Man United have sort of gone the same. It looks like 43-1. Man United have got De Gea in goal. Dalot, Lindelof, Maguire, and Malacia as a back 4. Sabitzer and McTominay holding. Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, and Garnacho as an attacking 3, and then Weghorst up front. So Martinez, Rashford, Casemiro, Varane, even Wan-Bissaka and Fred. He's dropped. They've rotated probably just as much as we have. I suppose the only thing you could say is that we've only taken 8 subs, and that we're missing. We're like, we're technically a sub light, but I suppose Danny Ings not started. Danny Ings being cut tired and a couple of injuries. Maybe that leaves us a little short. Yes, definitely this. Young Jake, definitely this. Russ needs to put his pennies in the meter. Russ's internet has gone down. Oh, yeah. Q records turning into petite. Yeah, but to be fair, he did score them a couple of goals. Was it the quarter final when they nearly made the comeback against Argentina? And I think they lose that game on penalties. And he did get a couple of late goals. You know what? He really is like a David Moyes centre forward. He is a target man that does link up the play very well. Maybe he's a little bit, maybe he's not mobile enough for David Moyes, maybe, but he's been a guy that's really scored goals everywhere he's gone, apart from when he went to Burnley. I mean, let's not forget he's technically still on loan at Man United from Burnley, but is he one that I take? Yes. I mean, would you want him? It's a question, I suppose, for everyone. Would you want someone like him in the team? Would you want that as a David Moyes signing? I'm sure David Moyes would have him. I don't want to say he would, but not injured enough for Moyes. Well, that's not true, is it? I mean, I'm sure Moyes could find a way to make him more injured if he really wanted to. You know, we don't exactly have the best track record when it comes to injuries. I mean, even this year, you know, our injuries record's been appalling at times. We would, yeah. I mean, you know, there was rumours today that Liverpool were looking at Aguerd, and I've seen those Liverpool fans turn around saying he's too injury prone. These guys have one injury. I'm sure West Ham, no matter who they are, would manage to find an injury record for someone if it really came to it. You know, I'm sure we've all seen over the years how bad our injury record is. But it is what it is. So, as I said, we're coming into this game. You know, of course, all the pre-match build-up will probably be about Man United. Is this a big chance? Which is the question. Is this really? As I said, is this a big chance? Like, Man United come into this obviously having played Sunday off the back of Sunday's win in the Carabao Cup final, the Carling Cup final, the Mill Cup final, the League Cup final. Having won, and I'll be honest, I mean, I watched the game. Certainly, at least I say for the majority of it, I don't know. Maybe it was tactical. Maybe Ten Hag out-tacticked Eddie Howe. Maybe the whole thing was sitting back and defending. But I certainly expected Man United to dominate the game more than what we really saw. I thought Newcastle, especially Saint Maxima, really got at them. You know, whether it was Dalot in the first half or Wan-Bissaka in the second half, the pace just on that left-hand side they struggled with. You know, Dalot in the book inside 10 minutes. So can we get Fornals or Benrahma at him early? You know, we do at least have the pace of Emerson, which I'm guessing maybe they might have brought in thinking Rashford was going to play. Garnacho's not slow, but I'm sure they probably think about Rashford. Emerson maybe could be somewhere we exploit going forward. You know, use that pace against their back line. I really don't know how this is going to go. Like, he was showing Man United before TV's invented. Yeah, it's just a regular occurrence, isn't it? Man United always seem to get the TV games. I can see why, though. You know, they've been talking about today, the history, especially of West Ham and Man United in FA Cup games. You know, my social media day has just been plastered full of that Di Canio goal at Old Trafford. I believe someone, the FA All Live on their own social media, if they shown a replay of West Ham Man United game from about 10 years ago, maybe slightly longer. We love a cup. We love playing away in the cup. And at least we're coming into off the back of a win, something we haven't done in a while. And can we actually take some momentum into the game? Obviously, Man United will be very buoyant, very happy. They're going to come to the back of that 2-0 win. Hopefully, maybe they've been out a little bit, a bit too much enjoyment on the beers, maybe. Of course, they're going to be up for it though. You know, I think I can't remember one of the commentators. It was a proper former Man United player the other day said for them the quadruple still on. Tie around could be Tottenham. The thing is, it's at the point now where there's not many, like small games. I mean, Tottenham Sheffield United's going to be a hard game. Fleetwood against high-flying Burnley, and then you've got Southampton against Grimsby. That was, I suppose, you look at that. Maybe that would be where they look for the big cup upset. You know, Southampton not in great form at all. I don't know where Grimsby are, but it's a low league opposition against the Premier League team. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I am somewhat surprised that we are like on TV. I think all the games are across. I think it's ITV showing all of them across some stage of the channel. But considering how much West Ham and Man United have played in the Cup over the last sort of 10 years, I am surprised. Or I don't know if I'm more surprised it's on TV or more surprised. I don't know, I'm more surprised that it's a midweek game, but I think maybe that's because of the World Cup. They're trying to squish everything in. So what would normally still be a Saturday game, they've crammed in. Not to mention, also forget about the fact that there's 2 Premier League games today. Liverpool are playing Wolves in the Premier League and Arsenal are playing Everton. Really, this World Cup's really thrown everything like out of sync. Aguero's been 78 days in the 18-19 season, 81 days in the 19-20 season, and of course 98 days this season. So it's an injury record which makes bigger clubs hold back. I need to see what it is though, because if he's just had one big injury every time, it's just unlucky. Because like for us, he just had the one big injury. You know, basically, was he like tore his Achilles in pre-season? And even then, I think he's gone. I think he was back quicker than I thought he probably would be for that sort of injury. Yeah, Moyes has got like I said, he made 4 changes. Obviously, Soufal and Fabianski were obvious ones, as was Danny Ings. Maybe the only surprise is that he's actually sort of given Bowen a rest. You know, if anyone hasn't seen, we're also 1 sub short, which, you know, I said Liam Praise taking a couple of the kids, but could he not take another one? It doesn't give us. I mean, you know, you've got Downs for a midfield option. Hey, is that right? I don't want to say it's not. Yeah, that's what West Ham tweeted. Because it makes me question, where's Lanzini? That would be the extra one I think I was missing. You know, there's no Cornet. People keep saying Cornet's edging. You know, people keep saying, oh, Cornet's going to be back. Cornet's going to be back. He's still not quite made it. 18-19, 3 different injuries, 22 ankle. So I think Sawyer's. I've got Sawyer on there. Sawyer's there. In the end, we are a player short on the subs. I've put West Ham and Man United on in the background, and saw the teams. They put the teams up next to each other, and yeah, West Ham are a team short, player short on the subs. Yeah. Maybe, I suppose, Fabianski, Soufal, Lanzini, Cornet, and Danny Ings. Lanzini was in the original lineup on the bench. So maybe Lanzini's got injured in the warm-ups, maybe? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's where the missing player is. I haven't actually got the sound on, so I'm not entirely sure. I'll have a quick round look. But that could possibly be it. Maybe he's already pulled up, and that's why we're 1 short. I know, just trying to double check. Make sure that West Ham haven't tweeted it out and then changed it and gone up. No, sorry, we got it wrong. No, I think that is right. So maybe it is. It's got the West Ham app thing. I've got the West Ham app up and I open before, and like you're right. They thought before they did have Lanzini on the bench, so unless Lanzini got injured, so the app has Lanzini on the bench. West Ham's Twitter account. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, they've updated it. Okay. That's just them doing me over. So I'll update that now. They obviously, I've got a picture, and the picture I had didn't have Lanzini on it. They obviously released the picture and then re-released it because I've got the one that doesn't have Lanzini in it. So I think, Lanzini is in there. And that will be. There we go. So that is we have got full allocation on the bench. Lanzini is there, according to the re-uploaded picture. I guess in West Ham quickly took down and retweeted. Okay, so yeah, we have a few options. We've got basically Creswell and Kira are going to be your defensive options. They'll be certainly Moyes' first choice. Downs and Lanzini is middle, and then Bowen and Skamaka. And Lanzini is your more attacking options. I know we've got the kids, but I don't doubt the fact that they're probably there to make up the numbers, given how Moyes normally operates, especially away at Man United in the Cup. I can't really see them being used. Could be wrong. Yeah, it said no. He's there. But I screenshotted, phone captured the lineup West Ham tweeted out the second they tweeted it out, and the one I've got, Lanzini wasn't on it. I've gone back on it, and they've now updated it, and Lanzini's in there. So I think maybe the West Ham media team made a little mistake. I know he's been out of David Moyes' mind for a while, but I'm pretty sure he's still been in the meet. He's a media team can't forget about him as well. Yeah, it is a very, very strong. If you look at it, it's a very strong lineup. A lot stronger than I thought. I'm very more surprised that it's not a back five. Like, for me, that looked, I was certain that going away to Old Trafford, Moyes would revert back to the back fives. Yeah, that is. I said if Moyes has taken them, because we spoke about this the other week, if he's taken them just to give them the first team experience, get them used to it, being around it, because even that on its own, the mental thing of that can be quite big. So if that's where he's gone with this, let's get them around the first team, get them used to it. We just don't want to. To be fair, I think from what I've seen of Obama already, he looks a lot different. But we don't want like a Meebrew or we don't want the ones where Moyes brings the kid in, plays them, messes everything up, brings them out, and then that sort of kills them off. But I said I don't think. I mean, Anang will be. Anang's going to be in around the team for a while now because he's going to be the backup. He is going to be a number 2 goalkeeper. Bring the kids on with 3-0 up. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, 3-0 up with 10, 15 minutes to go and bring the kids on. I don't think the kids are getting used in the slightest. Happy Emmerich kidnapped Lanzini. Quite possibly. He definitely was not on that first team sheet they put out. Try and hit 1 or 2 from outside the box instead of trying to walk in at last. The problem is, right? The problem is we don't have many guys now that can actually score from outside the box. Rice can, but doesn't do it very often. I think Bowen's scored a couple, but like one was a big deflection and one I think was against the Europa League team. It's kind of poor goalkeeping. Outside of that, Souček don't think he ever scored one outside the box. Antonio, borderline, sort of on the edge. He's done against Brighton last year. I'm trying to think of Benrahma's done a few. So you play like Benrahma and Rice, maybe Bowen. No one else is. No one else is scoring from outside the box. That's why we try and walk it in. Surprised the Gea is starting. I need to see their backup keeper, isn't it? It's got 10 up still. Because they've actually got on the bench Tom Heaton. See, I was going to say they don't have. I was going to say they don't have a proper, we've got two number one goalkeepers in Fabianski and Areola, whereas I was saying Man United don't, but Man United do actually have Jack Butland on loan from Crystal Palace. But I guess maybe they said he can't play in the cup. Tom Heaton was once upon a time, I think, started off with Burnley, and he's a bit older now and gone back. So for them, it's probably, it's probably the fact that they don't really have a proper backup goalkeeper. Didn't Rice score outside the box? Yeah, he did. But I said he's the only ones I can think of. I can only think of Rice, Benrahma, and maybe Bowen. Oh, Lanzini does pop one up every now and again, doesn't he? He's known he can do it. He's on the bench. That first team, that lineup there. I'm looking at Rice, Benrahma, Fornals, maybe Paqueta, them three. Can maybe ping one from outside the box. On the bench, I said maybe Bowen. Oh, Scamacca scored most of his goals for us outside the box, to be honest, isn't he? He seems to score further out than he does further in. They had the rest on Sunday. You know what? I said it was a very weird. Anyone that didn't watch it was a weird game because I was watching it, and for the first 40 minutes, it was pretty much all Newcastle. Man United had two goals on the counter. One was obviously a free kick set piece, which is poor marking, and the other one was a big deflection. Even then, Man United sat back, done on the counter. It's just Newcastle's final ball let them down. It was massively letting them down at the weekend. I think they all going to be here. I think Rice and I don't know, will Paqueta play deeper or Souček play deeper? It seems recently they've tried to get Souček further forward again, so Rice protecting the back four, Paqueta slightly in front trying to control midfield, and then Souček trying to push forward. I'm just worried, is this going to be a 4-3-3 like it was against Forest? Or is this going to be a 4-5-1 where Antonio's got no one within 40, 50 yards of him, and you've got the back four, Rice sitting in front of it, and then Souček and Paqueta as midfield two with Bowen and Benrahma and Fornals playing either side on the wing. And then there's just no one up with Antonio. Maybe that's why Antonio's played instead of Scamacca, because he knows that Antonio's going to run around more than Scamacca will, and he's not going to get any support in the game. I don't. I can't moan. We can't moan. He's actually been very positive with his approach, Moyes, which I generally don't think. I certainly didn't think or expect. I definitely expected a return to the back five today, at bare minimum, without many changes. I don't. Yeah, it's probably end up being a 7-2-1. We let them dictate. See, he has picked what is a more attacking team, and it's a cup game, right? So it's a cup game, so goal difference, and that for me is always the big thing with Moyes, is that he's always worried about goal difference. There was that the season, obviously the lockdown season, we come in, and at one point we might have got relegated by like 0.1 of a goal or something when they worked out. Oh, it was a 0.1 of a point when we had a bit of goal difference. And when it comes to the end of the season, goal difference come in a lot. I mean, even at the moment, like everyone else is significantly worse than us, barring Leicester. Us and Leicester both got -6. Palace are just sort of in it still, 4 points ahead of us, or -10. Forest are -24. Wolves -15. Leeds -10. Everton -15. Bournemouth -26, and Southampton -22. So goal difference matters a lot. And Moyes seems to be a big sticking point for him in league games. But there's no point like doing this sort of thing today, where like we did at Tottenham. There's no point doing something that we did at Tottenham where everyone just sits back, because it's not that goal difference. Goal difference is irrelevant. Like, we shipped 10 goals tonight, and if we went all out attacking and lost 6-0 or 6-2, the goal difference doesn't matter. It's a cup game. Do or die. 8-1-1. Yeah, that sounds more like Moyes. Yeah, don't tend to play for the draw. I don't know if the replays are still in at the moment. I know they brought them back for some of the lower rounds. I can't remember which point they got rid of the replays. FA Cup replays. So the draw is tonight after the last game, so that's good. Oh, sorry. Okay, so there are no replays from this round onwards. So Moyes does definitely not want to be playing for a draw, because there is one. If we draw, there's no replays now. No, it was only in the earlier rounds. Yet it's extra time. I don't know if it's even extra time in pens, or is it just pens? That's what I'm trying to look up now. That's the last thing I'm trying to find out. Is it extra time in pens, or is it just pens? I know it is. It go to extra time and then pens. Okay, so right, it's extra time then pens. It's not just straight to pens though. It is extra time first. Oh, everyone's good at pens. I know it's. I know was it the Blackburn game? He didn't save a single pen, but if we go back the year before, we played Man City. He saved a couple of pens. Yeah, strong up looks like a 4-3-3. Yeah, it does. This is surprised. Moyes has gone for it. He has gone for the back five, which will surprise that. Anyone that has joined late, Russ didn't put his pennies in his meter, and he's got no internet. His internet's gone down. So as we at the moment, I believe some point in the next 20 minutes, Anton may be joining us. Possibly, apparently, maybe. Until that point, you're just stuck with me, unfortunately. The show had to go on. I got called in, I got that last second call up to sub in. You know what? I don't like pens. Maybe it's because we're English as well. I just don't like pens. I just no faith in penalty shootouts. I don't have faith in taking penalties at the moment, to be perfectly honest. Paqueta looked decent when he took that one against Newcastle, but I've record before that. He's so flip-flop, up and down, score, miss. Not convinced. Bring on Blackburn. What? Beat Man United and get our game for revenge against Blackburn, having them knocked us out of the League Cup early in the season. Yeah. It's not how it works, though. It's West Ham. If we do get through Old Trafford tonight, I fully expect our next destination to be the Etihad, because that's how it works for West Ham. Is there a GoFundMe for us as internet donations? There's not yet, but I'll let him know. I'm sure he'll sort something out. I don't know. Maybe it's just an area thing. I just got Russ hasn't got the internet, which Russ is normally always here, always unreliable. So we'll let him off once. You know, can't be helped sometimes. Games are already starting with this weird set of kickoff times. That's the Southampton Grimsby has already started. I think Blackburn are about. Is it Black? No, Burnley are about to kick off. There's some weird results going on at the moment. Weird kickoff time, should I say? Yeah, Burnley Fleetwood's going to kick off in a minute, and then we're at 9:45, and then Tottenham Sheffield United is 9:55. Not really sure. I don't know if this is trying to spread it out. Yep, exactly that. If we win tonight, it's Man City away next. You know it will be. Is Russ still using Windows 3.1? Yeah, Russ at the London Stadium where you get no Wi-Fi. I don't know about you lot, but I don't get anything at the London Stadium where I sit. I don't even get signal. I get nothing. I might get one bar of actual phone signal, but Wi-Fi, I don't get any of this free Wi-Fi. It just doesn't connect. I can't get any 4G. So yeah, maybe Russ is actually secretly on the stadium. That's why he can't do anything, because he's got no signal. I said we can't. Let's get running down the bottom again. Moyes just got to go for it. He's just got to go for it tonight. Tell the guys, it doesn't matter. There's no pressure. There is no pressure tonight. Deck might maybe see this pressure because he might want to win. He might want the cup, but realistically, it's a cup game. We've got to make sure we turn up and don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about lead. Don't worry about this. Just take the confidence from the win and just go all out. Just use next from Moyes on ITV. Jared has a bit of an injury. He's on the bench, but I don't want to overdo it with him. So it's a chance for another player in the squad. So he's got a bit of a knock and he's trying to give him a rest, but he's just on the bench to keep it up. Yeah, that's kind of sensible for David Moyes. I'm going to see what a good manager could do with this squad before Rice and others leave. Well, the Rice one ain't going to happen. Rice has gone in the summer. The rest of them, personally, I genuinely believe Rice will be going in the summer, as will David Moyes. I think it won't matter when Moyes goes because it's going to be. I think Rice has gone in the summer regardless. I'm with you, Epic. That I'm Moyes out anyway. The pre and post World Cup form done it for me. The man doesn't know how to manage an attacking team with attacking players. He knows how to manage counter-attacking players, which still baffles me how we do a counter-attacking team, but he doesn't buy any players with pace. We've had this since Bilic come in. 3 managers now have all sort of done the same. Quick transition, and no one has pace. Even now, I think really in our team, I'd say Cornet and Emerson are proper pacey players. Pressure on Man United. Man United is still trying to go on about to get this quadruple. West Ham relegation battle. Man United, maybe could argue, they're not pressure's not on them because they just won a cup, but they want the FA Cup. They probably want that more than the League Cup. They probably happily swap one for the other. Just hate the fact that some games have VAR and others don't. From the way I understood it, I think the Southampton game will have VAR, and the main against Grimsby, and the West Ham Man United will, but the Burnley Fleetwood won't, and the Sheffield United Tottenham won't. I believe because it's only the Premier League grounds that have got VAR set up at the moment. I think is it next year or the year after the Championship are actually having VAR. But I'm sure from what I've read, it's basically the grounds that actually have VAR will use it, and the grounds that don't, which isn't really. So I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to look it up quick. I'm pretty sure there will be at the 2 Premier League grounds. There's not the other ones. There's no replays. There's FA Cup. Yeah, so here we go. So VAR is only in use at Premier League stadiums and not at homes of teams playing the Championship or below. So the West Ham Man United game and the Southampton Grimsby game, because they're two Premier League grounds, will have the VAR, but Burnley Sheffield United won't. And I'm sure that's probably because of a cost measure more than anything else, because you have to pay to use VAR. I'm sure it's like 10 grand a game or something. Man United will get all decisions going anyway, whether VAR or not, they'll probably get decisions, yeah. Why is Bone injured on the bench instead of Lanzini? Apparently, see, Lanzini is on the bench. From what I can tell, Lanzini is on the bench. There seems to have been a mess up with the West Ham Twitter account, because I have got, as I said, maybe I'll try and load it in a minute. I have got the version of the team sheet they put out where he wasn't on the bench. But if you go back on it now, he is. Lanzini is on the bench. So I guess it just means he'll get used instead of Bowen. It could be one of those ones where Bowie's like, yeah, I feel right. Moyes like, I don't want to risk it. Moyes probably thinking he's too important to the rest of the season. So maybe he just, doesn't want him if he doesn't have to. Can't see him. No, I think Hackney, we've got a long way to go until it gets to that point. I don't think it'll ever get to that point. See, this is what the bench apparently now is, according to the West Ham Twitter, but it's updated it since they first put it out. Bowie's injury, that's probably why Moyes is taking the caution on it. If he's felt anything, he's probably gone, no, not risking it in the slightest. Yeah, resting Bowens for Ings back. Yeah, to be fair, at least this gives Ings a rest, Keeps Ings fresh. He's not playing tonight, which he can't. Anyone that doesn't know that, he's cut tight. He would play for Villa in the early rounds. So he can't play, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if you want your informed striker playing and scoring goals every game, or you don't want to overplay him and overwork him and, giving him a rest tonight and having Antonio and Scamacca instead keeps him fresh for the weekend. Scamacca can't be fully fit either, so probably only one or two subs. I think Scamacca will get game time. I don't know how much. I reckon he will for Antonio at some point. Or maybe we could even see one of Fornals and Benrahma come off and then Scamacca goes down the middle and Antonio goes on the wing. This is an interesting one because he's barely had any minutes at all anyway since he's come back. If you believe the rumour mill that he's another one that's possibly got a bad... I don't know if it's bad. Maybe he's got some sort of attitude problem, mental issue thing. But he's not played a lot at all since he come back. I don't know if that's going to be like another Harrison Ashby where he thinks he should be playing and he's not. He's had enough. But you've got to think if he's fit and he's playing, he'd be worth having on the bench just because he's got his pace. But West Ham don't seem to be wanting to risk anything at this point in time. I'm not sure who, what, why. I don't know. Very well could do. Very well could do. Wouldn't put it past West Ham the slightest, but you've got to think he'll get more game time before then. I'd certainly like to think he'd get more game time before then. I would have thought he would have got the game time. I would have thought he got the game time before then. I thought he might have played today, but maybe they're not risking it. Maybe they don't want to risk it. Maybe he's coming back then. Maybe he is. Maybe he was injured. Maybe we don't know what's going on. But yeah, it certainly would have been worth taking if Bowen, you don't want to risk Bowen. Cornet rested, so he's fit enough to get the medical table. Moyes has said he's back. There's pictures he's back in training. He's nearly there. You'd have thought, unless this is like a last minute thing and he's just done some training just then in the warm up and they've gone, oh no, I don't want to risk it. You'd have thought, if you're talking about someone that's possibly carrying an injury and someone's just not fit, you take Cornet instead of Bowen. Most will get 5 minutes on the field and most will whinge the drugs and doing their job. I don't think he's got much to whinge about at the moment. You know, I think Danny Ings done pretty well. Antonio didn't the other day, but then Antonio, you know, in the Tottenham game, did he have a good game? No, but then there was no one within, 15 yards of him. Probably not 15 yards, within 50 yards of him. He spent half the time on his own. I don't know what you're supposed to do about that. Like, I don't know what they expect someone to do. When you don't actually give the opportunity to do it. Like, getting this open. So we are not about 5 minutes away. I don't know what Antonio's going to do. You get him in the way in, or you sitting in the home end? Going to Craven Cottage. It's a small ground. Coming from Canada. I don't know if I could do it. It's a long way to go. Right. We're on. Say the players are out. They're probably just doing a little handshake, sprint around, about to kick off. Only 3 minutes away. What's everyone thinking? I'm going to go positive. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win tonight. I don't know why I'm feeling pretty positive. And what's everyone else thinking? I'm going to go positive. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. FA Cup, magic of the cup, and all that. I'm going to go for a positive win. Man United are just coming out onto the pitch, so we're only going to be seconds now away from the kick-off. But just before then, Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes have got time to show off the Carabao Trophy. They're also displaying Man United's women's goalkeeper, who just been nominated, who won the award, for women's goalkeeper of the year. And Casemiro showing off his little trophy because he got part of FIFA's team of the year. Well, we're playing in our white and orange kit today. West Ham are sitting, still warming up, kicking the ball about, while Man United are sitting around doing all these photos. Ferguson's here tonight, so you know what that means. And now De Gea's getting award as well because he's got the most clean sheets for a Man United goalkeeper or something. Sure, they could have done this like not within the last like 2 minutes before the kickoff. Sure, they could have done this like half an hour ago, 15 minutes to go. And they're just doing a minute's silence for John Motson. West Ham are going to kick off, attacking the home end in the first half. Paqueta to kick us off. West Ham all run too early before the kickoff's even taken. Now we are kicking underway. West Ham pump it long. Just put straight out for a West Ham throw in. Ben Johnson takes throw in, throws it straight away, but Fornals picks it back up. Johnson attacking his right hand side against Garnacho. West Ham get the better of him. Ben Johnson whips it in, headed out. It's Paqueta. Paqueta looks to play back in, but loses out. Man United bring it away. Paqueta tries to win it back, but gets turned by Sabitzer. And he puts it straight out of play for a West Ham throw in. Johnson throws it into the feet of Antonio. He tried to turn the play into Souček, but he overhits it. Emerson, however, wins the ball back off Anthony. Declan Rice. West Ham just trying to keep the ball around the back. West Ham are trying to keep this. Trying to keep the ball. Man United are pressing high. West Ham are trying to play it around the back. Spread wide to Emerson, who launches it long, looking for Antonio, but it's just gone straight through David De Gea. Beautiful. West Ham. You have to decide between them. West Ham giving the ball away to Man United. They even just outside Man United's box. Played it wide. Right back Dallows. Then forced backwards by Benrahma. And they've forced them back to the edge of their own box, but obviously West Ham don't really ever press in high numbers, and Man United eventually just walk through the press to Garnacho, but then they engage on the halfway line. Fornals pressing high, forcing them back into their own box. Lindelof and Maguire playing it between themselves. Going back to David De Gea. Maguire feeds it into Anthony, who loses out to Declan Rice. Declan Rice coming forward, skips away from Anthony. Wide to Benrahma against Dalot. But he's got no help. He's been basically just closed out. Got offered no help there. There was Emerson maybe been told to sit deeper. But Anthony lost the ball, tracked back against Benrahma, and him and Anthony and Dalot between them forced Benrahma out, and it's a goal kick to Man United. More brave attacking play from West Ham. But we'll see how it goes. It's maybe a promising first few minutes from West. Maybe you'll like what you're seeing. West Ham are trying to get on the Man United centre-backs when they can to press them down, false passes into the midfield. But Tomine passing it wide to Dalot. Dalot's then falls back to Lindelof in the middle, who's just gone over the centre circle. Feeding it wide to Garnacho. Fornals forces him backwards to Lindelof. Man United now have moved themselves all up. I think only Maguire on the halfway line is the deepest player now for Man United. Malacia into Garnacho, who then gets tackled by Fornals. West Ham play it away quite well. Antonio up against Harry Maguire. It's naive, Antonio. You have to knock it wide of Maguire. You can't knock it in directly behind him. He tries to just run at him and knock it. Didn't knock it wide of him. He knocked it directly behind him. And Maguire just turned around and played it back to De Gea. Caught Man United on counter attack then, but you've got to be more intelligent than that, Antonio. Maguire feeds it into Bruno Fernandes. I think it's into Vitz, sorry. He plays it to Veckles. Veckles plays it wide to Garnacho up against Johnson. Plays it into the box. No one there. Rolls out on the far side for a West Ham throw-in. Good bit of play from Man United. Quick. All of a sudden turned it on in an instant. Garnacho just about beats Johnson, but there was no one in the box. And he rolls out the far side for a West Ham throw-in. Emerson throws it long, but it's intercepted straight away by McTominay. McTominay and Anthony exchanging passes between them. McTominay skips inside. Back to Veckles. Sabitzer. Oh, what a save. Come from West Ham throw-in. McTominay does really well to win it. Cuts inside Rice. Feeds it to Veckles. Holds it up for Sabitzer. Gets it first time on a half volley. Low. It's a good save, Areola. Gets down quickly and it's a strong palm. West Ham eventually clear for a throw-in. First chance of the game, should we say? First big chance of the game. And it goes to Man United. And it was a good test and a good save by Areola. Next is up back with Man United again. Man United now bring it forward. Harry Maguire. About 10 yards so West Ham's off. So how deep West Ham are at the moment. Big raking ball from Malacia. Over Johnson's head, gets there. But in 4 hours, picks Garnacho's pocket. But West tries to play it to Antonio. Antonio goes long when he went short. Anthony comes inside. And Areola watches it up and over the bar. Miscommunication there. I tried to counter. 4 hours went to play into Antonio's feet. Antonio went to turn in behind. Come straight back, but Very good save, Mariola, showing that shot again from Sabitzer. Fornals coming forward, gets Malacia tried to pick his pocket and fouls him, and West Ham win a free kick. West Ham will surely now look to push everyone forward. Come on, ref, they're not even backing off. West Ham went short with it, free kick, gone back, but Ario just sprayed it out brilliantly to Emerson. Emerson brings it over the halfway line into Souček. Souček looked to play to Benrahma, but got fouled by Scott McTominay. It was behind Fornals, but it did get clipped, and West Ham got the free kick. Again, West Ham are looking to take this short. I would personally be looking to chuck a couple of plays in the box, maybe. It's 40 yards out, right on the touchline. Almost like in front of the dugout. And West Ham now do send players forward. The centre-backs have gone up alongside Souček and Antonio. Man United holding this very high line. It's like almost 25 yards out, their defensive line here. A very, very high line. Emerson whips it in. Souček doesn't really get the flick on. Bonner tries to head it, but actually heads it up into no man's land. Man United now looks counter, but Garnacho's touch is poor. Rice just sends it back to Areola. It should be something we look at taking, exploiting more. Should be something better with that sort of chance. Benrahma wide to Johnson. Johnson looks playing to Antonio. Cut out the near post. And West Ham at nothing. Have a good counter attack. Antonio, that is an awful clearance. For me, hello Patrick from Paraguay. For me, this is the thing. Areola, Fabianski's been a very good goalkeeper for a long time. But he's now at the point where he doesn't make the saves that are going to win you games. He makes the saves you expect him to make. Areola will make the saves that could potentially win you games. And I know, like, on Sunday or Saturday, should I say, the game was won. But that save right at the end, left hand, was going top corner. Or that sort of save. A few times this season, I've seen that sort of shot against Fabianski where it's not even in the corner. It's like 2 yards inside it and he doesn't save it. Doesn't get down quick enough. It's also sort of like this spray at the ball here. Fabianski, Areola under pressure, still sprayed it out to Ben Johnson on the halfway line. I just hope now this will show Moyes that Areola is good enough because Fabianski, they reckon, won't be maybe 6 weeks. So in which case, hopefully this can show Moyes that Areola is the goalkeeper. He should have been the goalkeeper for more this season. I don't understand why. West Ham pushing high there. Souček trying to pick Lindelof's pocket. And West Ham have forced them back to De Gea on the edge of his own box. West Ham pushing players up higher, trying to force Man United to kick it long. Man United still trying to play out from the back. And they nearly get their pocket picked again. West Ham pushing higher. Johnson wins the header against Garnacho. Sabitzer brings it in midfield. McTominay skips away from Paqueta. Garnacho cuts inside, has a shot. Parried from Areola. And then the rebound from Weghorst, he's miles offside, which he put wide anyway. Aguero brings it forward into midfield. Fornals controls it really well, spreads it wide to Emerson. Emerson now comes forward with it, looking for Benrahma. Benrahma turned done over. The ball had just crept off the pitch beforehand. Ball's played up. Fornals wins a header, but that's can't be down to Antonio and a ricochet off Souček, and then Bruno Fernandes now brings it away. Looks for Garnacho. Ben Johnson wins it, plays it straight down the line, looking for Antonio. And Lindelof sort of panics. Johnson slips in, looking for Souček. All over Harry Maguire. I'm sure if we had scored, it probably would have been given a foul. But West Ham pushing Antonio and Souček on the edge of the box for a goal kick here. The Man United passing out from the back. West Ham pushing players higher. Not letting Man United get comfortable. Maguire ends up playing it down the line. Emerson wins the header into Rice. Rice into Paqueta. Paqueta forced to go backwards to Areola with no options really on. Areola pings it looking for Souček, who wins the header. Antonio has the knockdown to Rice. Rice spreads it. Oh, just too far ahead of Johnson. It was a promising attack there for West Ham. And again, it's come from the passing ability of Areola. And Man United again try and play out from the back. De Gea tries to spread it and puts it straight out for a West Ham throw-in. Emerson's take the throw down on his near side in front of the dugout. Look for Antonio, and Maguire heads it straight out for another West Ham throw-in. Also from the same position. Of course, Emerson steals a few yards. Looking for an option into Rice. Emerson flicks it up over the top, looking for Antonio. Souček flicks head on, looking for Antonio again. Souček brings it down his chest, looking for Antonio. Souček is very high up the pitch here. Ho! Look who it is. Oh, Peter with the score update. Grimsby. I said there could be a giant killing there. I said that could be the giant killing game. Grimsby won up against Southampton. Fornals out on the wing. Lucas Paqueta. Back to Rice. Rice back to Aguerd. Aguerd in the middle to Paqueta. Knocks it back to Rice. Rice really worked well from left to right to Emerson. Emerson back inside to Rice. Across to Paqueta. Paqueta then. Ref! How are you? You can't play that long for to give the advantage. It was a foul. Yeah, it may not have been a foul. Man United could have been away there, 5-on-2. Paqueta went down very lightly, and the ref in the end gave the free kick. Rice takes it short to Johnson. Johnson plays it straight back to Rice. Rice wide to Johnson again. Johnson cleverly played his 4 hours and knocks it around for Paqueta. Paqueta looks to Antonio. Antonio out for the goal kick. Again, though, West Ham are leaving players up the pitch. You know, Maguire and Lindelof are inside the box, almost on the 6-yard box, waiting for this pass goal kick out, and West Ham are leaving Souček and Antonio on the edge of the box to engage both the centre backs to try and force De Gea to kick it long, which is done again. straight to Paqueta. Rice brings it down, back to Paqueta. Paqueta back to Obona. Obona right to Aguerd. Aguerd into Paqueta. Paqueta turns Bruno Fernandes. Looks clip away for Antonio against Lindelof. Lindelof falls back to De Gea. Johnson regains possession. Paqueta knocks it around the corner for Souček. Souček kicks it off from Malacia. West Ham. Looking solid at the moment. They're looking comfortable in possession. They look good on the ball. They look like they know what they're doing going forward. Antonio feeds it into Johnson. Johnson looks to cross it in, but it's cut out by Garnacho. But his pass forward is intercepted by Fornals. And in the end, it goes out for a Man United throw-in. Malacia passes it backwards to Maguire in his own box, who spreads it wide to Dalot under pressure from Benrahma. Again falls back to De Gea. De Gea pumps it long towards the halfway line. Obona wins the ball. Man United this time over pick up the seconds. Wide to Anthony. He's forced backwards. It goes into Dalot. Man United work it from right to left. Wide to Garnacho. But Johnson man marks him across the pitch, and then Man United falls back again. It's an interesting game. Yeah, it's like a chessboard at the moment, tactically between the two teams. Man United falls back again as they go from left to right, back to Dalot. Dalot again falls back to the left to Lindelof. Lindelof into Maguire. Maguire back to Dalot. Dalot eventually gets it. Bruno Fernandes come very deep to try and get on the ball. He spreads it very well out to Garnacho. Garnacho back on his right foot. Headed out by Aguerd. Paqueta brings it down. Looks for a get out. Looking for 4 nows against Lindelof. And Lindelof just puts it out for a West Ham throw-in. Evening, Lee. Johnson into Paqueta. Paqueta turns one tackle, gets away from the second one. Aguerd chips it forward, looking for Antonio. Antonio, unlucky, nearly turns Lindelof there. Fornals puts the pressure on again. Into Weghorst does very well to lay it off. Wide for Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes into the middle. And Johnson with a good clearance away. Rice picks off Dallow's second ball. And West Ham going. Rice is driving West Ham forward. Looking for options. There's no options. He's forced to go backwards into Souček. Souček then goes back to Aguerd. It's a poor ball. Soulful now short. Garnacho now away from him. Looks at Weghorst. Weghorst knocks it on to Anthony. Anthony just about keeps it alive. Bruno Fernandes wide to Garnacho. And it's a good tackle from Johnson. But Fornals doesn't really clear it. Eventually, West Ham sneak it away. Dalot on the halfway line, wide to Anthony, squaring up against Emerson. But shows him back inside the Dalot. Man United again. Falls back into their own half. Maguire spreads it to Lindelof. Lindelof just tries to play it wide. Even then, Fornals gets a toe on it and puts it out for a Man United throw-in. Malacia at the left back to take about 40 yards into 40 yards out from West Ham's goal on the left-hand side. But eventually West Ham close the pressure and it's forced backwards again to the halfway line. Man United been quite, at least at the back, quite pedestrian on the ball. Going from left to right. Looking for that killer ball in between the lines. But West Ham seems to be cutting out. Johnson with a good header out. Cuts it to Fornals. Fornals looks in. Looking for that direct approach. They're trying to play the ball in behind Antonio, but you're right. You're right, Peter. We cannot keep a hold of the ball. Again, West Ham nick it. Fornals out to Benrahma. Benrahma. Antonio's away here. 1-on-1. Oh, he smashed it straight at him. You're not going to get many chances better than that. That is why in the league at the moment he won't start in front of Danny Ings. He doesn't know what to do. He waits for De Gea to commit. De Gea doesn't commit. And he just smashes it at him. He just doesn't do anything, Antonio. He just basically smashes it straight at him. Whipped into the near post and Souček heads into the side netting at the near post. Exactly that, Howard. Danny Ings would bury that. It's why Danny Ings is probably out of the two of them the more trusted striker. Antonio isn't a striker, is he? That's poor from Benrahma. Just gets pushed off by Danny Ings, by Harry Maguire. Anthony running at Rice. No, that's the thing. Is no point watching that. I think Antonio's going to score. Apart from that little spell he had, like that's the 18 months maybe post lockdown and that first season. When we had the Europa League, maybe it was about a year, maybe just a year, where he had that form where you banked him to score goals. Whereas that Man United's corner they're taking short, but they've been forced all the way back. Now Anthony comes forward again. Wide for Bruno Fernandes to flick in. Headed up and out by Ben Johnson. They're on really well there. Skip away from two players. Rice spreads it wide to Johnson. Johnson into Fornals. Fornals looks to flick it around the corner to Johnson. Johnson does get there, but then Garnacho shuts him off when he tries to cut inside. And now Sabitzer leads counter-attack for Man United. But Fornals covers. And Man United be slowed up again. Ball over the top. Looking for Malacia, who's pushed himself up. Maguire manages him really well and just clips it wide and high halfway now looking for a clearance. But Maguire heads it straight back again to Anthony. Emerson shows him out, then into Antonio. Maguire takes it. That's got to be a booking. Paqueta, brilliant ball out, and Antonio spins. Oh, that's a naughty one. Antonio spins. West Ham win the ball, I said, from Man United attack. Paqueta with a brilliant ball out straight into the feet of Antonio. Antonio spins Harry Maguire. And Maguire goes in the book. Maguire, big, long, stretching ball up towards Benrahma. Benrahma loses out on it. Comes back to Emerson. Emerson back to Benrahma. Benrahma into Paqueta. Paqueta loses the ball. But Rama loses it, but Rice wins it back. Rice into Paqueta. Paqueta back to Paqueta. Shoots. Good little bit of play between Paqueta and Fornals, but catches it almost too well. It's straight into the hands of David De Gea. That was promising attack from West Ham. McTominay, Souček just clattered McTominay, but the ref rightly plays advantage. Lindelof bringing it forward for Man United. Looks to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes hands it wide to Dalot. Dalot then crosses it, goes all the way out to the far side. Garnacho, however, keeps it on. Malacia, the left back, look for Garnacho, but it's well. I was going to say, it was poor from West Ham, but actually, well watched by Ben Johnson. He puts a slight tackle out for a throw into Man United. Scott McTominay on the hot, 40 yards out. Back to the left, Bruno Fernandes. Plays it wide to the left-hand side to Malacia. Bruno Fernandes looking to cross it from left to right, all the way to Anthony on the edge of the box. He cuts inside. Another left footer and very high and wide. We'll take shots like that all day. West Ham now playing it from the back themselves. Ariola takes the goal kick short to Bonner in the box. He then pumps it forward, looking for Benrahma, who couldn't keep it on. It's gone out on the halfway line for Man United throw-in. At which point, why not just play it long when you've got Souček and Antonio up there? Ooh. West Ham nearly picked Man United's pocket there. Playing a short throw in, and Rice nearly picks their pocket. But Bonner does eventually get the ball back, but he's been forced out. Anthony wins it back off him, and now he's going to give Man United a free kick. It was a Man United throw it, and they were sort of passing it around in triangles, not really doing much. Rice nearly picks their pocket. Bonner did pick the pocket, but then there's so many players that can adjust the area, just end up losing the ball and fouling. Man United take the goal, take the free kick, switch it. But Garnacho gets out, jumps by Johnson, and Rice wins the ball back. Bonner spreads it out to left-hand side to Emerson. Man United now trying to press higher. Emerson's running from left to right, back to Aguerd. Aguerd back to Bonner, but there's now no left back. Bonner forced back to Ariola. The Man United have dropped off. Aguerd, big raking ball straight down the middle. Antonio into Souček. Antonio back. West Ham have got a 4-on-4 here. Benrahma. 4 hours into Benrahma. Across. I don't know if that was a shot or a cross from Benrahma, but he hit it across goal, and it was one of the ones, if De Gea doesn't touch it or spill it across the box, Souček had a tap in at the far post, but De Gea held on to it. Man United now come forward. Malacia into Garnacho, back to Malacia, into McTominay. Man United seem very quick in the final third on the ball, but the rest of the pitch at the moment is very slow and methodical. Emerson nicks it off of. That's a red booking ref. Yeah, and that's Scott McTominay going in the book as well. He tried to spread it wide to Bruno Fernandes. Emerson picked the ball off him, fed it to Benrahma. Benrahma just turns and rolls McTominay. Very similar to Antonio and Maguire earlier. And McTominay just is a professional foul. I'm very surprised the ref's giving it though. He doesn't give that sort of thing against West Ham. But it's 32 minutes. It's been positive for West Ham. It's very surprisingly positive. West Ham play it short, play from left to right. Johnson into Fornals, plays a 1-2. Fornals gets back, gets into Souček on the edge of the box. Souček didn't look up in the slightest. Didn't look up. Antonio had gone to the near post for a cross, and Benrahma had actually pulled back to almost like between the penalty spot and the edge of the box for a cutback. And Souček didn't get hit up, just chipped it to the far post like a sandwich. But a lot of running up the top of the pitch of Antonio, enabling this high press, which Man United again are trying to pass through. I think they may have just done it this time. No, Bonner steps forward to nick it off of Anthony. Benrahma into Paqueta, back to Benrahma. They're linking up really well. Benrahma looks wide for Ben Johnson. Johnson just keeps it on the pitch. Rice to Aguerd. Aguerd into Paqueta. Paqueta, nice little play there back to Rice. Garnacho deep in West Ham United's half. Sorry, West Ham United's half. Now going from left to right. Dalot almost in the middle of the pitch at the moment, supposed to be playing right back. Goes back out to Garnacho. Garnacho looking to try and get away from Fornals, which he's struggling to do. He falls backwards. Antonio picks up the ball in the middle. Rice then picks it up. West Ham now got a counter-attack. Wide to Benrahma. Benrahma up against Dalot. Wide to Emerson. Emerson cut cross. No one gambled. No one gambled. Fornals, flat-footed. Doesn't gamble at all. Oh, that's where you want a Danny Ings. Benrahma hold the ball up. Does the little clip in the box. Knock it forward for Emerson. Smashes it along the floor in the 6-yard box. No one gets on the end of it. Man United goal kick. I thought maybe Lindelof would put it out for a corner, but obviously just rolled out. Man United now coming forward, gone into Garnacho. Fornals picks his pocket, well, puts it in the tackle, and it goes up for a Man United throw-in just inside their own half. It's a big chance in this half, West Ham, and we haven't taken one yet, and that's the worrying thing. Garnacho, clever turn away from Souček. Souček could go into the book for this as well. Man United tries to play it quick. The rest blown up. Souček may get away with it because he just used his hand on his shoulder and he didn't actually commit to a proper tackle. See, that's what I thought, Freshfielder. I thought it was going to be a West Ham corner. I thought it. I thought she got points. No, it's Man United free kick, 30 yards out, whip towards the far post. Maguire wins the first header. Not found McTominay, but Tominay's hit it on the volley. I believe it would have been straight Areola, but Souček with the header up and out. First big sort of chance for Man United. West Ham have now pushed forward to the halfway line, but that was a let off there. Just a free kick towards the far post. Maguire headed it back down and in. McTominay on the half volley. Brilliant bit of play there by Paqueta, Rice and Emerson. And Paqueta with a big kick forward. Shoot! Oh, Pablo. Antonio up against Lindelof. Antonio, left foot shot. Straight to Gea. There was half a chance there for Fornals to try and chip one. The ball over the top, De Gea kicks it straight to Antonio. Straight to Fornals on the wing. And he has half a chance at 1 point to try and chip him. Then Malacia gets back. Antonio squares up Lindelof, cuts in on his left foot, but straight at De Gea. You're never going to beat De Gea with that sort of shot. At least not West Ham. He's made that mistake against sort of like Brentford. He's done it a few times, but De Gea never has a bad game against West Ham. Paqueta intercepts in midfield, plays it wide to Fornals. Fornals back to Aguerd. Aguerd to Johnson. Johnson into Paqueta. Paqueta back to Johnson. Back to Aguerd. Aguerd rakes it forward, looking for Antonio again. Holds off Harry Maguire into Emerson. Emerson's then been fouled from behind. Exactly fresh. I thought there was a chance for Fornals to shoot. But he had to shoot. He had to take one touch and shoot. If he doesn't shoot straight away, that's it. There's a free kick to West Ham, 5 yards inside Man United's half. After Anthony given a foul for trying to pick the pocket of Emerson. West Ham take it sort of short, played it wide to Benrahma on the wing. Benrahma's looking for the movement. It goes wide to Paqueta. Paqueta then West Ham worked it from left to right to Fornals. But Fornals is now being closed down. He has to go back to Paqueta. Back to Fornals. Into Rice. Back to Bonner. Aguerd. It's a risky pass. It's been intercepted by McTominay. Bonner's now out on the left wing against Anthony, which is not where you want him. Paqueta's come over to help. Try to slow him up. And then they eventually force Dalot backwards. But Maguire bring the ball forward, 40 yards inside West Ham's half. Plays it to Malacia, who just about keeps it on. Guanacho up against Glenn Johnson again. This time Johnson just manages him, shoves him out of the way, and then pumps it onto Antonio. But Antonio couldn't bring it down. Ball fed into Weghorst. Aguerd plays it back to Areola. Areola looks up for Antonio. Antonio wins the first header, but West Ham can't get the second ball. Weghorst spreads it wide to Anthony. Anthony up against Emerson. He's come inside again. Fernandez dummies it. It's Garnacho. Garnacho high and wide. Clever dummy from Bruno Fernandes to get into Garnacho. Takes one touch to get away. First touch takes him inside of Johnson. And it was more like a rugby conversion. It was sort of middle of the goal, a couple of yards over the bar. Areola looks for Antonio. Thank you, ref. Antonio couldn't jump because Lindelof jumped over the top of him. West Ham get the free kick again, a couple of yards inside Man United's half. West Ham send the centre-backs forward. Declan Rice is going to pump this long. Declan Rice spreads his forward, looking for Bonner. Bonner doesn't get there. Harry Maguire dummies it and he goes out for a Man United goal kick. It looked like Bonner wasn't really in position for it. I don't understand what was going on. Areola pumps his long, looking for Antonio, but McTominay gets there first. He knocks it into Sabitzer. Sabitzer to Bruno Fernandes, 30 yards out, into the feet of Weghorst. Weghorst holds it up, gets it back to Bruno Fernandes. Tried to get through to Anthony, but it's shut down by Emerson. Managed to deflect it back into the keeper's hands to Areola. Grimsby have just scored a second penalty at Southampton, and they're 2-0 up. Talking about a cup upset, Southampton 2-0 down at home to Grimsby. Bruno Fernandes on the halfway line, just walking the ball over the halfway line. Spreads it wide to Anthony. He cuts inside, looks to whip it for Weghorst. Too high, too slow, straight into the hands of Areola. Areola just slowing the game down now. Kicks it long, looking for Antonio. Antonio's really not holding the ball up at all. Johnson up against Garnacho. Johnson wins the tackle. Puts it out for a Man United throw-in. I would generally maybe look at Scamacca coming on. Because balls into feet and balls in behind, yes, but when we're playing long balls, he's just not holding onto the ball, Antonio. West Ham trying to put the pressure on in Man United's half again. Dalot's been forced to carry inside. Gives it away to Souček. Looking for Antonio. Oh. Huh? What's the ref blown up for? Is he just blown up to stop West Ham counter-attacking to give West Ham a free kick? Antonio... Oh, hit the referee. Oh, get out of the way, ref. West Ham opportunity of a counter-attack there. Clever play done left hand side to knock it into Rice. It's gone out for a West Ham throw in. Emerson takes it, throws it into Souček by the corner flag. He looks to knock it back into Emerson, gets too much on it. Man United looks to counter. Benrahma nicks it off of Garnacho. Sorry, Paqueta nicks it off of Garnacho, but Paqueta's been fouled this time. The ref's not giving it. Probably because Paqueta dived earlier. But Weghorst tried to play it into Bruno Fernandes and he massively overhit it. Only lucky thing for Man United there is it went out for a throw-in, not a goal kick, right down at the corner flag. Which obviously, in front of the West Ham fans, West Ham are in no rush to take whatsoever. Emerson's probably just killed about 30 seconds to 1 minute of added time, walking back to the ball to get this ball because everyone's so far up the play. Emerson launches it down the line. Antonio doesn't win the header again. Garnacho into Sabitzer, looks for Fernandes. Johnson clears it, but somehow Antonio gets it. Antonio's now moving forward on the ball. Antonio wide to Benrahma. This is going to be the last tackle of half. Benrahma square up. Couldn't get it. It's half time. Half time whistle goes and it's 0-0. It's 0-0. It's not been bad at all, actually. Maybe, yeah. Arsenal 2-0 up against Everton, so that does favour. It's a league game. I suppose you think that they played maybe a month ago and that was Dyche's first game and it was at Goodness Park and Everton won 1-0. This must have been a reorganised, maybe from a previous FA Cup round or something. But Arsenal 2 Everton 0 in the Premier League does us a favour. Grimsby are in the second half at Southampton and they're 2-0 up, having scored 2 penalties either side of half time. All other 3 Premier League games are currently 0-0. which means Sheffield United are currently holding Tottenham, and Burnley are holding Fleetwood. We come in at 0-0. It's not been an amazing game, to say the least. It's not been, a phenomenal game. West Ham held their own for large parts. Obviously, there will be parts where Man United do get on the ball, do play it about, try and do stuff. But for large parts, I mean, the wingers, Garnacho and Anthony, West Ham have pretty much kept quiet. No, they seem quite at the moment quite happy to let Anthony cut inside and then close him down or let him have a shot. He's shooting. I can't imagine keeps being that bad. You're right, strangely enough, Aguerd's the one that's probably given the ball away the most out of the West Ham players. Trying to play the progressive passes into the middle. Maybe Man United pinpointed that, and maybe they're trying to close down more and pay attention more when Aguerd's on the ball. There's been some fantastic link-up play in the middle. Like Rice, Paqueta, Benrahma and Fornals. Really, the four of them link up exceedingly well, like the flick play. Add Emerson into it as well. Emerson as well was linking up quite well with them. The only real letdown. Souček's done well for what he's been used. If he only does run in, then stick him up the top with Antonio. Let them press more from the front and make him a nuisance up the pitch. I say the only real letdown, and it is a letdown, is Antonio. Massive one-on-one chance. Didn't chip it. Didn't go for the corner. Just smashed it straight at De Gea. De Gea obviously saved it. Another chance to go one-on-one at De Gea. And instead of running wide of Maguire, he ran straight at him. Maguire just sort of stepped in front of him and took the ball away. Emerson with a big chance, he crossed it, put it across the box. And no one gambled. Fornals was flat-footed at the back post. I do genuinely believe if Danny Ings had been playing, if buts and maybes, isn't it? But if Danny Ings had been playing, I do think we'd be winning right now. From the chances he's had. Fornals been covering for Johnson a lot, but then that's probably expected, With Garnacho and Malacia out there's a lot of pace on the left-hand side. But it's a good half. It was a good half. I'm nitpicking. Moyes, we were shocked, went for the 4-3-3. It is a 4-3-3. It is actually quite attacking and progressive. It's not defensive. We're passing out from the back. We're making it advanced passes. Yes, there's still times when we have to sit back and drop off, but that's going to be expected. But for the most part, we are actually getting forward really well. It is a promising first half performance. Surprising, shock horror to say. A very unlike Moyes' performance. That being said, I don't think Man United have been particularly great. I don't know if Man United are still got a little hangover from the Cup. Man United did rotate a lot of players. Casemiro and Fred aren't in there. Lisandro Martinez isn't playing. Rashford isn't playing. So, Man United have got Mo Eagle scored that Antonio chance. Colton Cole would probably score that Antonio chance. The only thing I would say is that it is a case that Man United can change a lot more than we can, and they've got a lot of their talent on the bench. It could be a case of how early, Ten Hag decides he wants to change it. I believe they've got Liverpool this weekend. From what I remember from the fixture list, the way it worked out for them. I'm just having a look now. They got Anfield. 4:30 Sunday. So how early and what changes Ten Hag will maybe look to make will possibly depend on what he wants from the league, what he wants from the cup, and what he wants from the league. Does he want to risk players getting played and then maybe getting injuries before the Liverpool game? Or does he just say, forget the Liverpool game, he wants the cup? They've got the changes they can make. But I say both their goal scorers, Casemiro and Rashford from the weekend, both on the bench, so he has got options. Especially, I suppose, when you consider maybe you've got McTominay on a yellow, you could just bring Fred or Casemiro in for him. Weghorst has had a couple of clever little touches, but hasn't offered much. Then again, neither has Garnacho. So either one of them could come off to make way for Rashford. It's one of them. We haven't got as many subs to make. We haven't got many options. Lanzini's on the bench. Skamaka's on the bench. I know I say you got Sawyer and Mubama. Yes, Bowman's on the bench, but apparently Moyes, I didn't see it, but apparently Moyes in the pre-match did mention about Bowen maybe carrying a knock and not wanting to use him. Yeah, you know what? He probably would have scored that in charge of Antonio. That's probably the best one to say. He probably would have. Had he been up front, he probably would have scored it. Honestly, Benrahma or Fornals would have probably scored it. It's just, we know he's not a natural centre forward, and he's done what he would normally do, which is he just goes for power. But David De Gea doesn't commit early. He does stand up. And he stood up, waited for Antonio to shoot. Antonio was hoping, I guess, that he'd come out and spread himself. I don't know if that's what they were. The squad I think of they were hoping is that, he was hoping De Gea comes out and spreads himself and he messes up. But we can't, we're nitpicking that big chance. So we had the, good point when Emerson got in the behind and pulled it across 6-yard box. No one gambled. Equally, there was that good save at the start of the game from Areola. From was it Sabitzer or Bruno Fernandes? I think Sabitzer. Ball played on the floor. Weghorst the first touch, lay off the edge of the box and he hit it towards the bottom corner. It was a good save from Areola. And then there was a chance later on in the half. It was a free kick from deep. Maguire, cushion headed back to McTominay, probably around the penalty spot, and he's hit it straight. I think it was going straight at Areola, but Souček gets in the way. That's probably the highlight from either side. It's been a good game. There's been a lot of neat play, but there's not been much end product either way. West Ham been a lot more probably attacking and aggressive and open than maybe even Man United expected. Certainly more than anyone that West Ham expected. But will Man United be that timid in the second half? Is this Man United just trying to let us have the ball to try and counter-attack? Or is this a hangover from the cup, or maybe because they've swapped so many players about? Don't know if buts, hands, maybes. All Moyes can do is tell the guys to come back out with more of the same in the second half, which shouldn't be too far away. I think it's about 2 minutes away, if that. We can only be positive. I say the only negative is we're not taking the chances, but we are creating chances. We are pressing high. We are making good play. A few sloppy mistakes, but there seems to be nullifying them. Everyone seems to be having a pretty good game. They say you could maybe argue the worst players, possibly, well, aside from Antonio, maybe Aguerd and his passing. there's a few times Paqueta's tried to play the through ball into midfield and maybe into Paqueta into Paqueta, and they've sort of maybe identified that may be one of our easiest ways to get out, and that's what they've pinpointed to try and lock down. You guys carry on in the chat. I'm not going to jump on that. Southampton have pulled a goal back against Grimsby, at least for now. Tickets just come up. Don't know if that'll be a VAR job or not. But at the moment, Southampton have pulled one back. West Ham, I'm guessing the game should be about to start up. We get into that. It was only a minute injury time into the first half, so I can imagine that once they come back from this ad break, the guys should probably be out on the pitch. Paqueta and Benny have linked up. I think Fornals has joined in well at times, has done well with them. Paqueta and Rice seem to be linking up really well now. It's just the top end of the pitch has let us down, to be honest. Souček's covering a lot of ground without really doing much. And Antonio's not doing much at all. No, you know what? The green screen is I've changed direction and the wall's just boring. Man United will play with more intensity now, getting subs on. This is what I'm worried about, because I don't think Man United can probably play. I don't want to say as badly, but maybe as timidly or. I say that, but you know what? That's how they played the cup final. It's just they took their two chances when they got them, and then they carried on doing the same. Well, basically, let Newcastle commit and we'll try and hit on the counter attack. The only thing is they have got the subs they can bring on. God, these adverts have been going on for a while. I do think we've got enough firepower to score. I just don't think we've got the. Antonio's not a finisher. We know this. He had that really unique, maybe 12-month spell where he was, and it was pure confidence. But now he's just been back to being his usual self. Like. This is exactly that Toby. I'd get Skamaka on for Souček. Like, if you've still got the pace and the movement around him from Fornals and Benrahma and Paqueta, I'd even maybe take Souček off. Maybe even go for like a Lanzini. Just get something else in the middle. Because Souček, apart from really doing some running, he's not offering much either. He's basically there as like, remember like earlier in the season when Paqueta was injured? And it was basically we had Downs playing up alongside him. I believe I just see, is that Varane? No, was that Varane coming out for the second half? No, it can't have been. Casemiro is on. So Man United have already made one sub.
Good evening.
Hello.
How's things?
We're doing okay. We're doing good. Apart from the fact that Man United just bought on Casemiro.
Just seen that. I thought it was an all right first half.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. Is he come on for
McTominay?
McTominay?
Mm-hmm.
Must be. I see some bits of there still, so it must be McTominay, and he was booked, so
Yeah.
it would make sense.
Right, over to you, mate, because your commentary's doing well. So go for it.
Man United kicking off from right to left, pumps it long. Anthony brings it down 25 yards out. Bruno Fernandes looks to whip it in, but uncharacteristically for him, launches it into the. Is that the Stretford end behind the defend? The West Ham are defending now. West Ham, I don't know if they should go flying out of the blocks at the start of this half or maybe try and contain a bit, but definitely be a different.
I think the key thing here is just not to concede early.
Definitely be a difference in midfield now with Casemiro on. Rice into Souček. Souček looks a flick on, but flicks onto no one. Malacia goes back to De Gea. De Gea straight away, not playing it long, plays it into the feet of Casemiro to get Man United going forward. Anthony against Emerson. Tried to backheel it, but Benrahma reads it. Back to Ogbonna. Ogbonna back to Areola. Back to Ogbonna. Going to get his pocket picked if he's not careful.
Matt, I might leave you. I'll come back in. Your commentary's doing well. I'm actually quite enjoying it. Getting a breather. I'll be back on.
Ogbonna dawdled on the ball a bit. Ends up getting caught by Weghorst, but benefit of the doubt. Gets the free kick. Yeah, Rashford sitting on the bench with his shirt out ready. He's not warming up though. Areola pumps it long. Straight to Maguire. Maguire just heads it back out. Ogbonna. Right. I'm sure Rice tells Ogbonna to leave it. And Ogbonna heads it straight out for a Man United throw in, just 10 yards inside Man United's half. Dalot looking to take the throw in. Man United throws it long. Emerson doesn't really do anything with it, basically knocks it out. Man United have rugby style gained 20 yards down the line. Dalot to take it again. Looks to throw it inside. Rice intercepts it. Antonio against Casemiro couldn't win the ball. Good head from Aguerd out to Rice. Rice sprays it wide for Fornals. Fornals looks to play it into Antonio. Antonio does well to hold it up, but his actual pass on the ball was awful. And then he tries to chuck a tackle in on Garnacho, and Garnacho just jogs away from him. Antonio doesn't even get near him. So Bitzer now driving forward. Big raking ball across looking for Anthony, but Emerson tracked it and covered it. Into Rice. Rice brings it down into Paqueta. Paqueta looking for Antonio. It's just behind him. Maguire intercepts it. Clever piece of play for Man United. Garnacho now on the right-hand side. Coming across the pitch, though, from left to right. Looking for a release ball, which again is Casemiro. Spreads it, looking for Bruno Fernandes. Emerson messes up his clearance. And Man United get a corner. Really out of nothing. Emerson had the chance to clear it. Decided he was going to try and shepherd it out. They realised he wasn't going to shepherd it out and ends up putting it out for a corner rather than getting his pocket picked by Bruno Fernandes. Only 4 minutes into the second half, but Casemiro's got his fingerprints all over this half so far, hadn't come off the bench for Man United. Man United take the corner short, work it back wide to Fernandes, who sprays it, looking for the edge of the box, so the edge of the near post, but West Ham clear it. And Anthony again tries to cut him on his left foot on the edge of the box and just almost passed it into the hands of Areola on the floor. No real power in the shot. Aguerd runs the ball out this time, plays it wide to Johnson. Again, West Ham look for that ball in behind the centre-backs for Antonio, and it's just not working. De Gea pumps it long. Rice loses, doesn't win the header, but Aguerd brings it down. Paqueta into Rice. Rice into Souček. Souček spreads it wide to Fornals. Fornals switches it to the far side to Benrahma. Benrahma brings it down, squaring up Dalot. Crosses into the far post. Souček. Souček with a difficult header at the far post. Heads it down across De Gea, but again, De Gea gets down and saves it. Rice wins the second ball and West Ham come away again. Into Emerson on the left-hand side. He knocks it back looking for Benrahma, but it's intercepted and now Man United can counter-attack down this side. Bruno Fernandes picks up and turns into Casemiro. Casemiro into Weghorst. Weghorst can't get his shot away. Marshall by Bonner and it's high and wide in the near post. One end to the other. But far post, Souček over the top of Lindelof. I just don't think he got enough on it. West Ham playing out from the back, or Bonner and Aguerd exchanging passes in the penalty box under not a lot of pressure. Aguerd into midfield, into Fornals, but doesn't get anything on it. Souček forcing Man United backwards again. De Gea spreads it to Garnacho. Garnacho can't keep it on the pitch. Plays it straight to Fornals. Fornals is away here. Fornals drills it in. First one gets cut out. And then Garnacho actually keeps it alive for Man United. Man United on the counter now. Casemiro cut out by Paqueta. Fornals not paying attention. Manacilla picks his pocket. Bruno Fernandes spreads it wide to Anthony. Up against Emerson on the right-hand side. Forcing him inside again. Anthony skips away from Rice. Plays a little 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes. Sabitzer into the edge of the box. Looks at Sabitzer. Fernandes trying to get underneath and out-muscle Aguerd, but that's probably one battle he's not going to win. And it just does enough Aguerd to put off Bruno and goes into the hands of Areola. Areola pumps it long, looking for Antonio and straight back to West Ham. Aguerd has to hook it up and under just to clear the ball. Benrahma does brilliantly control it to Rice. Emerson looks to knock it forward to Souček, but not a great one. Souček, however, does win the throw-in. Moyes not looking impressed so far. He's quite stern-faced, not giving anything away. West Ham throw-in about 30 yards out with Emerson. Flicks it round into Souček. Souček. West Ham have kept it on. Emerson back to Benrahma. Benrahma near post shoots. Oh my God! Benrahma! Benny peeks out the top corner. The only thing I'm worried about is there is VAR in this and did it go out for a throw-in? Man United sort of half stopped. West Ham played on. Put it into Benrahma and Benrahma's put it in the top corner. That out of play from Souček. Does this go out of play? Is VAR going to ruin us again? Hold the ball, hold the line. I need to see. It's a brilliant finish. Man United stop. Man United players just stop. They think it's a throw-in. I need to see the VAR. One angle you can't tell. It's the hold the ball, the hold the line. The ball can be off the pitch and still be in. Goal given. Goal given. We haven't seen a replay at all from this with VAR, but I don't care. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I don't even know how to do this. I'm hoping my little IT people in the background are going to sort this out because I don't know how you do it. So this is just going to introduce Rashford, isn't it? This is going to be Man United going to wake up now and bring all the big boys on. You know what? As a kid in school, you get taught play to the whistle. Man United didn't. And West Ham played on. Everyone was put in the top corner. And VAR have said, I guess it's not clear. And I don't know what they've said. They said it's not clear and concise error. There we go. See, I am shocked. I saw that one angle and I thought that was it. Like it did look like it may have gone off the pitch. So I was like, oh, it's not going to get given. Souček trying to pick the pocket of Casemiro there, but fouls him. Man United take it quick. Anthony running at Emerson. Anthony cuts inside, pulls it back to Sabitzer, back to Malacia, shoots into the Stretford end. And Lisandro Martinez and Marcus Rashford are coming on. So is that Harry Maguire coming off? Because he's the one that's booked. And then, so here we go. Here's the double sub for Manchester United. I can see Lisandro Martinez, the centre back, and Rashford are coming on. Right, Lindelof coming off. And Anthony. So then Man United going to swap everything around. So is Garnacho going to go out on the right-hand side? Or is Rashford? Be an interesting one to see. It sort of doesn't surprise me that he's the one that's come off, though, because he's not offered a lot at all. Areola pumps it over the halfway line. Antonio looks for a flick on, but gets a kick in the head. Martinez straight in with a foul. Been on the pitch about 3 seconds. Rice is going to take this. It's about 40, 45 yards out. Rice clips it over the top for Antonio. Antonio brings it down. Ogbonna. Fornal. Again. No one gambles. It gets Ogbonna. I don't know if he intentionally means it, but he plays it off to Fornals. So Fornals probably shooting. He shoots a cross goal. I think he's shot. I don't think it's Souček at the back post couldn't get in on time. But it was unlucky. Fornals sort of, those in between. Do I shoot? Do I pass? Do I just hit it in the general direction? I think that's what he's done. And he just went out for a goal kick. Man United pump it long, looking for Bruno Fernandes, who's out on that right-hand side at the moment. Maguire back to Martinez, back to Maguire, just inside Man United's half. Maguire plays it into the feet of Rashford. Wide to Garnacho. Garnacho running into the box up against Ben Johnson. Rice cuts out the first one. Paqueta then knocks it clear. Malacia wins it against Fornals, but then Malacia falls over himself. Man United just knock it around inside their own half. The tempo and the noise is definitely upped inside the ground after that goal. That's probably woken Man United up. Maguire long, Bonner cuts it out, but only as far as Dallo, about 30 yards out. He's a big breaking ball from left to right to Garnacho in the box. First time volley across the box, but Areola claims it. And he's trying to get West Ham on the counter. Emerson away from Bruno Fernandes, coming into the middle of the pitch though, and that's a foul. Casemiro breaking up the counter attack just to make sure West Ham don't get away from it. But they just showed one different angle. You know what? It does look like he might have been out. But VAR couldn't find an angle, couldn't give it. So they've stuck with the goal. Antonio, again, can't even bring the ball. Oh, Mickey, you've got to really bring the ball down. Rashford's back heel, intercepted by Souček, goes back to Ogbonna. Ogbonna into the feet of Benrahma. Benrahma to Emerson. Emerson looking over the top front. Antonio can't do anything with that one. It's 15 yards behind him. But he does put a bit of pressure on Martinez. Luke Bahia, pressure on him. West Ham are pushing pressures up the pitch again. But Souček intercepts it. Souček again with interception, but ricochets back to Man United. Ball over the top for Rashford. Aguerd cuts it out. Rice gets the second ball. Souček into Ogbonna. West Ham really out of position right now. Rice into middle to Paqueta. Paqueta's going to get his pocket picked in. He should have. Malacia, Rice then wins the ball back himself. But that was not a ball that they wanted. Antonio, away from Martinez. Square it. You! Oh. Why? It should have been 2-0. West Ham, having played it riskily around the back, get a breakaway, and somehow Antonio skips past the challenger Martinez. We go 3-on-1, and he shoots. West Ham close down Rashford on the edge of the box. Johnson just shields it out for a goal kick. It's 3-on-1 and he shoots. Has to cut it back. I think you had Paqueta and Fornals in the box. He does at least shoot across the keeper, but Harry sticks hand and saves it. But I think Fornals and Benrahma in the middle, maybe. And he just doesn't even look. Fornals just picked his pocket of Sabitzer. Oh, but it's a poor one for Rice, but Fornals recovers it himself. It's a big clearance ball that Benrahma can turn into something. Dallo back to the Gea. But this time, Man United can play through it. Vehicles just on Man United's half, spreads it to the left. Garnacho gets away from Johnson, but then Fornals again doubles up. It goes out from Man United throw-in. Malacia, edge of the box. Casemiro. Good save, Areola. Holds on to it as well. Same sort of like the one in the first half. Casemiro drills it. He does well, not just to spill it, but doesn't spill it either, Areola. He gets down low to his right, holds onto the ball as well. Pumps along for Antonio. Antonio still can't actually win a ball. Right. Ball looking through for Rashford, but it's overhit straight to Areola. West Ham playing out from the back, but West Ham get it wrong. Rice miscontrols it, may not get a throw in. They take it quick into the box. Rashford dummied it, Aguerd missed it, and Johnson cleans it up. Souček looks to bring it forward. West Ham just cannot keep the ball or get forward at the moment. It's all one way. Beckles 30 yards out, skips through a couple of tackles. Rashford inside the D. Back to Sabitzer, deflected. Garnacho. Johnson up and out. Antonio does eventually bring a ball down this time. But the ball from Benrahma. Couldn't find Fornals or Antonio. Maguire brings it forward, sprints it up to Garnacho on the left-hand side, just keeps it on the pitch, 30 yards out. Run into the box. Johnson gets half a block. It bounces in the box. Johnson away towards the halfway line. This time, Antonio's got nothing to do. Maguire comes flying in. Fornals misses his clearance. Paqueta trying to put the pressure on. Rashford, 25 yards out, looking to shoot. Dragged it wide. He was always looking to shoot there, Rashford. From a very, not a difficult position to shoot, but there was a lot of bodies in front of him. He never really got set. West Ham will take that sort of thing for now. Ariola with a goal kick. Souček this time loses out on header as well. Even Souček can't bring her header down now. Paqueta nicks the ball off Casemiro. Fornals into Paqueta. Paqueta puts it out for Casemiro. Are you taking the absolute... That would have been... Beckles... Paqueta picked the ball off Beckles and I think caught him and fouled him. Paqueta then put the ball out for throw-in and then Garnacho basically tried to play on. Just running on goal. Good ball down line from Fornals to Antonio. Antonio squaring up Martinez. Oh. Antonio gets a free kick right down by the corner flag. I mean, Martinez is kind of arguing against the linesman, and I can probably see why, to be honest, because he didn't look... He wins the ball. It was quite weak for Antonio. He got out-muscled, lent round it, Martinez, and wins the ball and put it out for a West Ham throw-in, but West Ham get the free kick instead. Fornals is getting instructions. Emerson's going to take this on the left foot. Emerson whips it in. A good ball in, but Man United win the first head. Rice manages to regain it the second ball. Emerson chips over for Rice. Rice just kicks it off of Malacia for a West Ham throw-in. Ben Johnson comes over. It's almost a corner flag. Takes attacking throw for West Ham. Looks to Fornals, and Malacia done really well there to win the ball back, but he gives it straight to Paqueta. Antonio, such a poor layoff. Souček, however, wins it back. He's had a good game. Chips it over for Antonio in the corner flag. This time, Man United do work it away. Beckles is bringing it forward. He looks to switch it out, and it's a good defensive header from Emerson. Maguire brings it over the halfway line into Sabitzer. Maguire playing it across the back line to Martinez. He goes from deep looking for Beckles. So Bonner wins the first header. Comes back to the edge of the box to Fernandez on the volley, and high into the Stretford end. Never got over it, Bruno Fernandes. Runs that for a West Ham goal kick. West Ham still yet to make a sub. Man United have made 3 subs so far in the game. West Ham haven't made 1 yet. 20 minutes to go. Pumped long from Areola towards Antonio. Gets underneath it. Martinez wins it. Garnacho flicks it on to Bruno Fernandes. Johnson gets turned by Garnacho. Maybe lucky to not go in the book here. Got turned there, Johnson. Got sucked in. Bruno Fernandes, it's about 30 yards out, just in line with the edge of the box. Similar to the game weekend, crossed in. Casemiro again. Oh, that's almost like pinpoint replica of the goal he scored against Newcastle at the weekend. West Ham just didn't learn. Oh, is he offside? That's offside, surely. Yeah, he looks offside here. First replay along the line, he looks like he's gone early. That's offside. That's got to be offside. There's no angle for that it's not offside. Put the lines out. It's got to be. It's got to be offside. He looks like he's gone too early. Got to be offside. There's the VR line. Yeah, he's offside. Yeah, thank you. Offside. Goal ruled out. Grimsby have knocked Southampton out of the FA Cup. It is offside. Goal disallowed. And Bowen is coming on for Fornals. Souček wins the flick on into Antonio. Antonio looks for Bowen, but Souček picks up the second ball. Looks for Antonio. Oh, man, I'm just getting away from the edge of their own box. Souček looking to foul Casemiro, but Casemiro shrugs him off, drops the shoulder, gets it away into Sabitzer. Emerson blocks him out. Areola, it's an awful clearance. Paqueta sweeps up though. He's under a lot of pressure, Areola. Ball played back to him, being closed down. It's a phenomenal back heel from Paqueta to release the ball. Rice, however, sells Souček short. West Ham's starting to panic now. We're getting to the last 15 minutes. That'll do for Martinez. Tries to thread a needle through it. Goes out for a West Ham goal kick. Man United is trying to up the tempo, up the pressure. I would at this point look to swap Antonio out for someone else because he he's struggling. He can just hold the ball up. Into feet of Antonio, tries to play it wide to Bowen, but Malacia managed it well, and then Bowen's offside anyway. Man United take it quick. West Ham still bombing forward, players forward here, which is why it's so end to end. Fernandez, Rice holds him up. He plays it inside to Casemiro. Casemiro feeds it wide to Dalot. Dalot back into Casemiro. Casemiro into Malacia, who's playing centre mid at this point. He just about spreads it wide to Garnacho, but he has to go back 15 yards to pick it up. Garnacho just skips away from Bowen, comes inside, again spreads it to the right to Casemiro. He's going to feed it probably wide to Dalot on the right-hand side. Dalot spread again back into the middle, but Man United is really going left to right at the moment, trying to find this, I don't know, this worldy pass. It's gone wide left to Malacia. Malacia back into Dalot, who's now playing centre mid himself. Martinez wide to Garnacho, skips away from Bowen into the box, pulls it. Aguerd at the near post, clears it while falling over, and it goes out for a Man United corner. Aguerd, no. Fernandez to take it in. Oh, here's 1-1 now. Aguerd has taken it off the hands of Areola and put it to the back of his own net. I'm not being funny. This is just typical Moyes. We got away with it a couple of minutes ago and he made one sub, which didn't change the fact that Antonio's not holding the ball up. Areola's called for it. Aguerd jumps up in front of him. That's Areola's ball when Areola's coming for it. Aguerd jumps up in front of him. If Aguerd leaves that ball, Areola just clears it. West Ham, Rice hooks it over the top for Benrahma. Benrahma. Look, trying to pick at Emerson. Man United are now probably going to win it now. Bruno Fernandes racing over the pitch. He tries to take on Rice. Rice sweeps up, picks it up. But he kept the ball in the pitch, didn't put it out. Man United now got the ball played to the box. Paqueta intercepts it. And he plays it off their calls for a goal kick. No, they're not better than us tonight. But the problem is they've now got the momentum and the confidence because, as we've been saying for about 20 minutes, Antonio isn't holding the ball up anymore. Antonio's knackered. He's not doing anything. And Moyes, instead of changing that, brought on Bowen for 4 nows. You know, at what point is he going to actually look at maybe bringing another centre forward on for Antonio? Because Antonio's, even if it's Mbama instead, Man United are now free-flowing going forward. They calls 25 yards out into Fernandez. Fernandez 30 yards out, has a shot. Straight into Areola. Areola throws it out to Ben Johnson. Johnson into Antonio. Antonio, this time, just about does something with it, but he just plays it straight to Man United player. Maguire into Casemiro, just so Man United's half. Whilst the Man United fans have now found their voice after 79 minutes. Casemiro into Weghorst. Weghorst wide to Dalot. Sorry, it was into Dalot. Dalot fell over. No one was even near enough to pick up the ball. Johnson heads it out for another Man United corner on the same side the goal came from. Let's see if Aguerd and Areola can get their communication going this time. Man United instead take it short back to Bruno Fernandes. He gets shut down by Bowen. And they reset. They didn't take it quick last time. I'm sure they won't be taking it quick this time. Bruno Fernandes is going to whip it in again, same sort of position from the goal, whips in, doesn't beat the near post this time, and Ben Johnson heads it out for a throw in. Entirely agree. This is where the manager needs to make a change. Antonio's not holding the ball up anymore. Everyone can see it. The thing is, the goal, Ariola's come for the ball. You can see him. He's got his where he decided he's meeting that ball to clear it. And Aguero gets in front of him. If Aguero leaves the ball, Ariola clears it. And if Aguero clears it. Antonio actually does win a flick on, but Bowen can't make it stick. Man United pump it long in behind Johnson for Garnacho. Garnacho spins him. Garnacho and Man United now want a penalty. Very weak. That's weak from Garnacho. Man United up and under. Bowen actually is just one header against Maguire, which is more than Antonio's made tonight, I think. But Man United keep it on the pitch. Garnacho turns away from Paqueta. Paqueta, that's a booking. Again, look, we said, what is he reactive? He hasn't even reacted. He's not a progressive manager, he's a reactive manager, and he hasn't reacted to the fact that this is just going one way at the moment. Free kick, 40 yards out, maybe right on the line, right on the front touch line in front of the dugouts. Fernandes whips it in towards the back post. Man United win it, but Ariola takes it straight into his hands. And he tries to play it out quick, but Malacia blocks it and West Ham get the throw in. Paqueta looks to turn. One Man United player does. Souček just kicks against that and gets West Ham throw in. Liverpool have just scored, I believe, against Wolves. Freddie's coming on for Man United. Again, West Ham just don't win the second ball. Garnacho trying to play it, bring it wide, lays it off to Malacia. It goes back to Casemiro. Casemiro's going to spread it. Look for Sabitzer. Sabitzer didn't realise. And then Aguerd and Ariola between them. I think Aguerd's leaving it for Ariola. In the end, it comes off Aguerd's chest and he marshals it out for another corner on that same side. Okay, Liverpool haven't scored, that's been ruled out. Fernandes whips it in. West Ham get a half decent clearance on it. Wide to, it's been cleared back to Bruno Fernandes, 40 yards out. He goes for a big whipping in ball. Bonner gets a head on it, and Rice keeps it on. Managed to put it out for a throw in. Man United have taken it quick. Dragged back to Maguire on the edge of the box. Man United now trying to switch it back out to the left-hand side, but instead Martinez goes back to the right to Maguire. Maguire feeds it wide to Dalot. Dalot whips it in from deep to the back post. And Bowen, with Garnacho behind him, has to put it out for another Man United corner on that same side again. An in-swinger from Bruno Fernandes. And Man United have brought on Fred for Sabitzer. And Antonio, with 4 minutes to go, he's finally pulled Antonio off for Scamacca. Fernandez whips it in again. This time Aguirre gets ahead on it. Martinez with an overhead kick that's blocked by his own Man United teammate. That's a lot of booking, ref. It just slowed the game up massively from our counter attack because he wanted to have the ball for a throw in. Emerson tries to throw it into Scamacca, but didn't even reach him. Fred now brings Man United away on the counter. All over the top looking for Bruno Fernandes in behind Rashford. And then Aguirre, this time with a brilliant interception from the cross. And again, it's a Man United corner in that side, but they're taking it quick. Rashford back to Garnacho. Garnacho looking to shoot. Loses out. And then Man United overplay it and it goes out for a West Ham throw. She's wide open, and it's only wide open in one direction at the moment. Johnson throws it. Souček flicks it on. Scamacca just flicked it on. Bowen pushing on De Gea. De Gea just sort of standing still at the moment, not really doing anything. Waiting for West Ham to pressure him. Pumps it long. Aguirre wins the header against Rashford. Bowen brings it down, but it's a poor pass. Man United intercepts it. Johnson, however, intercepts the pass to Garnacho, spreads it himself. That's a poor ball. And Martinez picks up, skips away. Casemiro switches it to Garnacho. It's a phenomenal pass. Garnacho looking for the overlap of Malacia. He looks for across the far post and it's gone out for a West Ham goal kick. We've got a minute plus injury time to go. Arsenal were 4-0 up against Everton, so that's good for us in the league. Yeah, I saw that Liverpool goal wiped off. It's still 0-0 in the Wolves-Liverpool game. We've got a minute plus injury time, and then after that, it's potentially extra time. Scamacca straight away brings the ball down into Bowen. Bowen into Souček. Souček looks for Bowen. Souček overhits it, but all of a sudden, we got up the pitch straight away from Scamacca holding onto the ball. Malacia pumps it long. Ogbonna heads it back where it came from. West Ham don't win the first header, win the second header. But Man United pick the ball up and come away with it. It's wide with Dallo on the right hand side, slips it in from deep, and my stream is frozen. Poor clinch from Aguirre, back to Vehicles, back to Garnacho, and there we go. There we go. Oh. That's what you get, Moyes. That's what you get. There's a bad clearance from Aguirre. Very cool shot was blocked. Goes wide to Garnacho. He cuts on his right foot. Finally shoots far post and scores. Bang on 90 minutes. Thanks, Moyes. Sheffield United at least scored against Tottenham, but yet again, we don't make the subs early enough. Poor clearance, blocked, unlucky on the block, straight to Garnacho, right foot in the corner. That's what Moyes gets. Give it a go. It's too late for that now. It's too late to give it a go now in the 91st minute. Like the changes should have come after about 60 minutes when we were still 1-0 up. And then we got away with one, beat the Slav offside. And he didn't make the changes. Then we went to 1-1, didn't make the changes. He's made the changes too late. We'll probably get maybe 3 minutes valid time. There's not been any injuries. Man United are on the attack again. Rice with a brilliant tackle on Garnacho. But it's probably going to be too late. Probably going to be too late. It's 4 minutes valid time, that's it. We've still got 2 minutes now. It's probably too late. He waited too long to make his subs. Far too long. Rice bringing the ball forward. Ben Rama tried to skip inside, gets tackled, tries to win the ball back. Man United eventually get away with the ball. Ball in behind looking for Rashford. Rashford shoots. Inches wide. Toby, the only cop I'm giving Moyes here is that he didn't make any subs. You could see after 60 minutes, Antonio was knackered, and he was no longer holding the ball up, and it was just the ball was continually going one direction. You know that for me is it. It's the fact that yet again he hasn't made progressive subs. I know that the quality of the players is different, but half time, Ten Hag saw that Man United weren't controlling the game. They weren't controlling midfield, so he brought on Casemiro. Then he saw that he wasn't happy with Lindelof's defending against Antonio. He brought on Martinez. And obviously he brought Rashford on for the winger that wasn't working. Moyes' sub was to bring off Fornals, who was playing well, and bring on Bowen. And then he brought on. Well, we had the Jimmy Cissy come on. He's been on the pitch 5 minutes. Like he hasn't done 5 minutes. He's only been on the pitch 5 minutes, and he held the ball up twice, which is more than Antonio's done. The only thing Antonio's done is miss a 1-on-1 and then shoot when we were 3-on-1. We could have squared for a tap-in. But he's waited too late. Like Moyes, it's typical Moyes. He's not a progressive manager. He's a reactive. He's not a preemptive manager. He's a reactive manager. That's the thing. Though said, there's a lot of positives taken from this because the actual attack play, the play and the intent's been very good, but you've got a centre forward that missed 2 chances, and then you don't. When he's knackered after 6 minutes, you don't sub him off. Oh, that just sums up the game. That is absolutely fucking embarrassing. Aguerd has had an absolute shocker tonight, and that is Man United are literally holding the ball at the corner flag over the added 4 minutes of time, and they put a nothing ball into the box to Aguerd, and Aguerd stands on the ball, rolls underneath his foot. Weghorst picks it up, plays it back to Fred, who just puts it in the back of the net. Right, that is embarrassing. Right, that's probably the last kick of the game. We were in control at 1-0, and Moyes didn't make attacking subs when we needed it to freshen legs up. And he just held on. Moyes can look at the players, but at the end of the day, Moyes didn't make the changes when the changes needed to be made, nor did he make the changes that needed to be made when we needed to make them. Rather than changing centre forward that wasn't holding the ball up, he brought on Bowen, who he didn't want to risk. Then with 3 minutes to go, he then brought on Skamaka. And only West Ham could concede a goal after the added time. Look, game's over. It's finished 3-0. Sorry, 3-0. 3-1. West Ham are at the FA Cup. Probably best in disguise because we haven't got enough room. But it's another opportunity missed. Man United really didn't turn up until the last 20 minutes. And we could have been 2 or 3 up by that point. Didn't take our chances. Didn't make the subs progress when we needed to. But that's the end of the match day. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. If you stay here, this is going to end, but Anton's going to go straight on with a review. We move on to Brighton on Saturday. Again, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And come on, you Irons.